One of the biggest names of the past 2 decades is Need for Speed franchise. But it wasn't always that way. There was a time when Need for Speed was just another game with cars, not standing out from the rest. I didn't get to play Need for Speed 1 or 2, but Need for Speed 3, Hot Pursuit, and Need for Speed 4, High Stakes, were among the most interesting games I played during that time. They were quite simple games. You choose a car and race. But when I saw Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed, or Porsche 2000 as we know in Europe, I was blown away by the graphics and the gameplay. What I liked about those games, that Need for Speed franchise modeled car differently. Back then you could only dream seeing one of those cars in real life, but they not only let you see the exterior, but also let you sit behind the wheel. Porsche Unleashed also had this option, allowing to see the interior and drive the car that way. Only few games from that period I know that would allow you to do that, so it was quite impressive. But what impressed me the most was the game concept. You buy your first slow car, upgrade it with various performance parts, and race. You earn money from race, which you use to buy new cars or upgrade the old ones. This process, starting with slow and old cars, has something that attracts me. Maybe because deep down I am an RPG guy. And in some strange way, this is quite like RPG, car RPG. Just replace the character with a car and items with upgrades. That's why games like Gran Turismo 1 and 2 and Forza Horizon 1 and 2 left such a great impression on me. Porsche Unleashed was developed by EA Canada and Eden Studios. Released in 2000, this game is a special entry in the popular Need for Speed series. Unlike other Need for Speed titles, Porsche Unleashed exclusively featured Porsche cars, making it stand out from its predecessors and successors. While other Need for Speed titles featured wide variety of car brands, Porsche Unleashed is dedicated solely to the Porsche brand, as the name suggests. This focus allowed players to experience the evolution of Porsche cars from 1950s to early 2000s. The game included over 80 different Porsche cars, each with unique specifications and performance characteristics. Porsche Unleashed included a unique mode called Evolution Mode. In this mode, players progress through different eras of Porsche history, starting from early 50s to the modern era. This mode is designed to showcase the development and technology advancements of the Porsche car over the decades. Players unlock new cars and tracks as they complete races and challenges in each era. This historical progression is not present in other Need for Speed games, making this evolution mode a quite unique feature. Another mode, Factory Driver mode, is also quite unique compared to other releases of Need for Speed. In this mode, players take a role of Porsche test driver and must complete specific driving tasks and challenges. These tasks include precision driving, performing stunts, and testing new car models. This mode adds variety to the gameplay, as players must demonstrate their driving skills in various scenarios. Factory driving mode is exclusive to the Porsche Unleashed brand, and no other Need for Speed game has something similar to my knowledge. The game also featured realistic damage models, which was relatively uncommon in racing games at that time. Cars can sustain visible damage during the race, affecting their performance and handling. This feature adds an extra layer of challenge and realism to the game, as players must drive carefully to avoid damage to their vehicles. Especially in later stages, when the cars become very fast, one mistake can cost you a losing race. Compared to other titles, Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed offered a more realistic driving experience. The game featured more accurate driving physics, making it feel like a simulation than an arcade racer. Each Porsche model handled differently, reflecting its real-life performance and characteristics. While car customization is a common feature in many Need for Speed games, Porsche Unleashed took a different approach. Instead focusing on visual modification, the game emphasized on performance upgrades. Players can upgrade their Porsche cars with various performance parts, such as engine, suspension or brakes. This focus on performance rather than aesthetic aligns with the game's realistic driving experience. In contrast, recent Need for Speed titles offered features extensive visual customization options, allowing players to create flashy and unique car designs. Many recent Need for Speed games featured open world environment, allowing players to explore large detailed maps freely. Porsche Unleashed, however, primarily focus on closed circuits and point-to-point races. While there are some open road tracks, the game doesn't offer same level of open world exploration as later Need for Speed titles, which in my opinion isn't a bad game design. You go straight to the race, straight to the point. Some players might prefer that way. Unlike the more open-ended progression system in the recent Need for Speed titles, Porsche Unleashed offers a structured progression through its evolution and factory-driven modes. Player must complete specific races and challenges to advance through the game, unlocking new cars and tracks in a linear fashion. This structured approach provides a clear sense of direction and accomplishment, guiding players through the rich history of Porsche cars. Evolution lets you progress through 3 different eras of Porsche, that is Classic Era, Golden Era and Modern Era. Each era lets you buy specific cars from that era. Also you can buy cars, repair them and sell them later for a profit. The game places strong emphasis on skill and precision driving. The realistic handling and damage models require players to master driving techniques and pay close attention to the road. Precision driving is particularly important in the factory driving mode, when players must complete tasks that demand accuracy and control. Porsche Unleashed was praised for its detailed car models, which accurately represented the various Porsche models included in the game. Each car is meticulously designed to reflect its real-life counterpart, from exterior design to interior details. The game graphics were considered impressive for its time, especially for PC port, where higher resolution and more detailed textures were available. Actually, until this review I never played PS1 version of the game, which is completely different from the PC version. I was shocked how different those two are. It's like completely different game. New tracks, new music, new cars. I never seen this before. I thought I can take footage from PlayStation 1 version and use it as a review, because I had problems with launching the PC version of the game. But when I saw how different those two are, I thought that I must play the game I was playing as a child. So after some googling, I found some patches that help you run on Windows 10. I will leave links in the description if you want to run this game on Windows 10. Now back to review. The track environment in the game is diverse and well designed. The game features a variety of tracks set in different locations all around the world, including closed circuits and open road courses. The environment are detailed and pretty realistic for its time. The game features dynamic lighting that changes based on time of day and weather condition. These effects add depth and atmosphere to the race, making each track feel unique and immersive. And of course, when compared to the recent Need for Speed titles, the graphics of Porsche Unleashed may seem outdated. However, for its time, Porsche Unleashed was considered visually impressive. The game focused on realism and historical accuracy in the car models and environments remains a standout feature, letting you explore every car model from inside and outside, open every door and hood to see what's inside. As mentioned earlier, Porsche Unleashed offers more realistic experience compared to other Need for Speed titles. The game driving physics are designed to accurately reflect the performance and characteristics of each Porsche model. This realistic handling requires players to master different driving techniques and adapt the unique behavior of each car. To this day, I still think it's still the best Need for Speed title that has this simulated handling. You can really feel as the car goes into corner, as how the weight shifts from one corner to another, how tires connect to the road, and I really cannot say that about recent Need for Speed titles. The game also included multiplayer option, allowing players to compete against each other. This is one of the features I really miss from the older games. Simple multiplayer. You just enter an IP address and you're ready for the race with your friend. Multiplayer option allowed players to compete against friends and other players online. Players can race head-to-head on various tracks and test their skills and strategies against real opponents. The multiplayer mode extended the game's replay value as players continually challenge each other to improve their racing ability. As I said before, Porsche Unleashed was developed by EA Canada and Eden Studios. Creating a game that exclusively featured Porsche cars required extensive research and collaboration with Porsche to accurately represent each model. The developers also had to balance the game's realistic driving physics with the need for engaging and enjoyable gameplay. EA Canada, known as EA Vancouver, continued to be a major player in video game industry. The studio is best known for developing the infamous FIFA series, one of the most successful sport video game franchise. Actually, I'm a little bit disappointed because one of my favorite games are developed by such a horrible studio. Eden Studio, on the other hand, faced more challenging future. The studio continued to develop racing games, including the Test Drive Unlimited series. However, due to financial difficulties, Eden Studios was eventually closed in 2013. Despite its closure, the studio's contribution to the development of Porsche Unleashed remains a significant part of its legacy. Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed was released in 2000, a time when video game industry was undergoing significant changes. The transition from 5th to 6th generation of consoles was underway, with PlayStation 2 launching later that year. PC gaming was also growing in popularity, with advancements in graphic technology allowing more detailed and realistic games. Porsche Unleashed marked the departure from traditional Need for Speed formula. Prior to this release, Need for Speed games were known for their high speed and arcade-style racing. By focusing exclusively on Porsche and introducing more realistic driving physics, Unleashed offered a different experience for players. This unique approach received positive reviews from critics and fans alike, solidifying its place as a standout entry in the series. While it may not have achieved the same commercial success as other Need for Speed titles, Unleashed remains beloved entry in the series for its distinctive approach and dedication to realism. Despite its niche focus on Porsche cars, the game garnered a dedicated fanbase among racing enthusiasts. Nearly 2 decades after its release, Unleashed continues to enjoy a cult following among gamers and collectors. While video game industry has evolved significantly since its release, Porsche Unleashed remains a timeless classic that continues to inspire entire players around the world. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed this Porsche Unleashed review. Please consider subscribing and liking a video. See you another time.